How and what to eat during spiritual awakening? Is vegan food necessary? What about fast food, carbs, especially sugar, fat? Which food is helpful during spiritual awakening, and why it is important to consider food and the eating style?
First of all, why is considering the right food so important while the time of spiritual awakening? It's not about ethics and it's not about any behavior or something. This besides, of course. But the thing is, too heavy food can be an obstacle while meditating because too heavy food makes tired. But we are about awakening and not about sleeping and naps. I will come to that heavy food later. Because there's one more important aspect, and this is overstimulation. And I'm not talking from phones here. Phone is overstimulation for the eyes and for the ears a little bit. But what is overstimulation for the stomach and for the lips and for the taste is spicy food and over-sweetened food. Nowadays, many branches, the restaurant branch, the food branch general, tend to oversweeten the sweet things and to overspice the basic meals. And many people like that, and that's not too bad. Sometimes it's so much overspiced that you can't even taste the other ingredients. That is, of course, not good. That is pretty bad for everyone. But for meditators, overspicing and oversweeting is overstimulation. This also plays a role while conscious eating. I will come to that point later. The thing with overstimulation by eating is that, for example, sugar, as you know from people with diabetes, sugar creates highs, not first of all in the blood, of course, and after the high comes the low. That is one aspect, and the more you are meditating, you are more sensitive, and you are also feeling the highs and the lows in the blood, even if you have not diabetes or something, but you feel this overstimulation, especially when you have already abolished to eat too much sugar. The next thing is the taste. You can say, okay, people can avoid sugar and you take other sweeteners, but the problem is still that the taste can be over-sweetened, even with stevia or other sweeteners, which are better than sugar and which are not causing higher blood pressure or something. But still, they can be unhealthy for the meditation practice and for the way to enlightenment during the spiritual awakening time because of the overstimulation aspect. And of course, because this causes addiction, bad habits, and then we forget the enlightenment and the spiritual awakening. So what to do then? We can eat boring. First of all, to overcome the addiction, when, for example, one had the habit for a while, eating too much overspice and oversweetened, then it's good, first of all, to start very pure. This person will taste almost nothing when this person is of withdrawal of this addiction of overstimulating food, of course. But for a while, it will be better and the taste will get its sense back and will be more sensitive and will feel and taste the several things. But even that you can create not too much boring. Example, you can take a salad. And in this salad, you don't take only green salad, of course. You add tomatoes, a little bit pepper and salt, not too much spices, but little spices. You can also take cucumber. You can take many vegetables. And you can take every day different vegetables in your salad, so it will never be boring. That's the best middle way between overstimulation in food and boring food. Every day I change my salad. And it's never boring, and still it's a good food and a healthy food and very light so that I don't need a nap after eating. In this context, we should also talk about fast food. Fast food as it is defined officially, like burgers, fries, ice cream, of course, is not good because it's all too heavy. The burgers have the bread and the bread has too much carbs and that makes tired. The same with ice cream. Ice cream has too much sugar. Sugar is also carbs, even the worst kind of carbs, I think. And they also make tired and weak and also mentally weak, so meditation will work worse. Fries is one thing, it's not too bad, but some people say it's too much oil. Many people say that the best diet is to avoid fat while spiritual awakening. Fat is not that problem. The problem is fat and carbs in combination when both is involved, especially at a meal from a fast food chain, because there is so much oil on the fries and there are carbs on the burger, on the bread from the burger. So this in combination is not only bad for the body, because the body stores fat better combined with carbs. And when you leave one of that is even better. Then the body will not store so much fat. But this is only the bodily aspect. I'm not talking about that because we are about spiritual awakening, and the bodily aspect is not too important here. But for the spiritual awakening, unfortunately, it is counting the same, because this fat and this carbs in combination make more tired. And we feel so much full, so much exhausted after eating, and meditation will not work. But our goal is to stay in meditation, in best case, the whole day. And that is not possible with the ordinary fast food. But when you want food fast, not in the official definition, you can also take an apple, because apple is also fast food. You just wash it and that's all. You get your apple after only 1 minute. That is even faster than a meal. Other things, of course, also many fruits. And the sugar in the fruits is different compared to the added sugar, which people need for over sweetening things like sweets. What about veg, non-veg, vegan? Here, of course, there's the ethical aspect. Many people, especially spiritual ones, also focus the ethical aspect. And I also feel sad for the animals. And that's why I eat mostly vegan. I don't want animals to suffer for me. Not only to die because I don't eat the meat, but I eat sometimes slices of cheese in the salad. But this only because of the protein and of the vitamin B12. The problem is, I have a friend, he had the problem, he was absolute vegan, and after a few years, he got the vitamin B12 lack, and he was very, very sick. Even after the treatment and lots of injections, still he was like half a year sick until he could fully recover. And I don't want to come in this situation. And that's why I take sometimes cheese, but cheese is the only thing which I like. I even avoid drinking milk, and I even avoid other things. Cheese is really the only thing which I still like, because as meditator, we become more and more sensitive. And the thing is, when I eat egg, I have now a more sensitive taste, that I taste even the animal. Is not good for me. The same with drinking milk. And cheese is different because there's a longer process how cheese is made, and so cheese is not directly tasting after cow or sheep or whatever. So that's why cheese is the only thing which I eat and where I get my protein and vitamin B12. But there are also protein sources in nuts and in tofu and in other ingredients. So you can also look after them if you really want to live fully vegan. And one more aspect is that as vegan, it is not good to blame the non-veg people. Because I have also seen people who are vegetarian or vegan, they blame the non-vegan people. And if you do that, it's not good, because blaming others is always harming our soul. We have to become tolerant, even if it is not good when the people eat the meat. Of course, it's not good. We can go in demonstration and we can go in fights and you can go in many things, but don't judge people personally, please, because this will be an obstacle for your own soul during the spiritual awakening. How often it is good to eat while spiritual awakening? It depends on your habits and on your meditation routine, because food, as I said, can be an obstacle when it is too heavy. When it's too heavy, it's an obstacle for meditation and at least for enlightenment. and considered how often to eat on a longer period. As you know, I love fasting. It means there are periods of time, of weeks, where I don't eat anything. But instead I have to drink more, of course. I will dive deeper in that in a minute. Firstly, let's start with something which everyone can do and which is not too heavy. And this is intermediate fasting. I started it by accident. Actually, I was so much busy before I was a meditator. I was already doing this intermediate fasting only because I was too lazy to prepare something in the morning. I wanted it just easy. I wanted just to stand up, do my work, do my sports, do everything. And after I turned and became a meditator, it was the same. Then I was standing up, doing my meditation, my sports, and university. And there was not so much time, but it may happen that after the sports or after a while of working, you get hunger. Maybe by lunchtime. So my first meal mostly is by lunchtime or a little bit later, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3. Sometimes it's even 4 or 5 when there is my first meal on the day. And that's okay. I have read later from several saints and other spiritual people that they practice it also. I was not knowing from intermediate fasting, from the worldly side, but I was also not knowing from the spiritual side that this is good and that monks have done so. Sometimes people say, I have been a monk in previous lives. Maybe that's why. The Catholic desert monks of the 4th century, they practiced it that they started their first meal. And I think it was also their last meal at the same time. They only had one meal one day. It's the same like in Buddhism, but Buddhism eats it at lunchtime. And the Catholics ate it by sunrise. That was about 5 o'clock in their Egypt area in that time. There was a group of secluded monks, very secluded ones. They were as group, but they were very secluded in single cells and lived there and only met very seldom each other. And they were fasting a lot. And they were like this intermediate fasting. But I, as I said, sometimes also start by lunchtime and I eat a second time in the evening. And here are differences and what I can recommend for meditators. The difference is by lunchtime, very often, it doesn't matter if I meditate or if I work. The thing is that I don't want to get tired and I don't want to nap in the afternoon. And that's why I eat very low carb food or very not so heavy food. That means only a salad. And the only heavy thing in the salad is cheese. And cheese has no carbs or very low carbs. And carbs are making so heavy. That's the problem. So whenever we eat bread or rice or anything what has lots of carbs, we get tired. But the good thing is full of fat and we will not get tired. We will get full but not tired because there are no carbs inside it. As long as you don't add croutons or something. And the second thing, when I eat again in the evening, I allow myself to eat a little bit more heavy, not too late, so that I can fall asleep with meditation and am not so full. They say you need like 3 hours before you go to sleep, that the stomach has time to work on the food. I don't know, but I can recommend it. And not only the desert monks from the 4th century, also Hildegard von Bingen, a German saint, which was dealing with food and good eating habits. She also said that it's okay to eat nothing in the morning, to eat less by lunchtime, or not so heavy things, and to eat pretty much in the evening, and also heavy things. But she was more focusing families because she said families mostly meet in the evening. In the morning, nobody has time. Everyone has to go to work everywhere. And they meet mostly in the evening all together on the table. And that's why they say the biggest meal should be in the evening. But for me, it was a different reason. For me, it was better that my stomach can bear the heavy food in the evening better without getting tired and without a nap. And that's what I can recommend for meditators, to always be awake and full of energy. And for those ones of us who are very brave and who want to try the full fasting, of course, I can recommend it, because it's not only a cleaning process for the body, at the same time purifying for the soul happens, especially on the very first fasting for more than 10 days. But how to start full fasting, there's an extra video on that. But what counts for everyone beyond fasting and beyond good food habits is conscious eating. Whenever you eat, you should not watch TV or watch phone or anything besides. You should focus the food. You should focus your ego, your I, your person, and you should observe it and try to overcome it, to become the observer, as well as you do with negative emotions and other things. You do introspection in that kind of overcoming the person to go forward while this spiritual awakening and into the full enlightenment. So you can use everything of your day, every part of the day, as well as eating. And that is the best thing I can recommend for everyone. Hope this video could help some. Have a nice week. See you soon. Bye.